Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, my name is Paul, and on this channel to go over things that I'm curious about and things I've looked into, I like to share. So with today's video, I wanted to discuss why creativity needs discipline and explain a little bit about how I think of the two just in their relationship. So this idea of creativity and discipline, a lot of creatives, they like to say, I want to be spontaneous, right? I don't want to have to, the whole idea of being creative within an hour, that's, terrible. That sounds terrible to me. I don't want any restrictions. Don't put me in a box, right? Don't put me in any of this type of box where I can only perform in these hours, okay? I want it to come naturally. I want it to flow. I want to be inspired and I want to create. And if it's not coming for a little bit, okay, that's fine. I know it'll come, okay? This is how I have begun to understand the relationship between creativity and discipline. The way that I see creativity is it is naturally more childlike. There's more curiosity involved. There's more unknown involved. If you're being creative in the truest sense, you are being original as much as one can be original. And you are making connections. You are making a picture. You are making a song, making whatever it may be, whatever your form of art may be. A good story, and it is flowing from wherever it flows from, right? And it just seems so free. It's this creative expression, right? Sounds completely opposite of when we think of someone who's disciplined, right? It's like, okay, this side's really emotional. This side seems to be non-emotional, and this side seems to be, yep, I may be sad, I may be happy, none of that matters. I just got to get the work done. The work equals responsibility, and responsibility is what I need to do because I got things that I got to take care of, right? And so these two seem to be at odds with one another. Here's what I would say and why they both need each other. With my own experience, it seems like this one is the child and this one is the parent, okay? The artist, the younger you, the more curious you, the one who wants to venture out, create, really in the emotions. This is, I feel like, the personification of a younger child. This one is, I feel like, the personification of a adult, of someone who's more mature, if you will, more responsibility driven, right? And it seems that a lot of times adults don't tend to be like this. They tend to be work focused, responsibility focused, got to take care of the kids, got to take care of the house, got to take care of the job, etc. And we just, as we do in our society, we like to be binary and we like to keep things apart. It's either someone's either this or this, and it's like, I think that there should be a lot of this within everybody, meaning if someone wants to be creative, I do think that there should be hours of creativity, meaning, and this will make sense in a second. I do think there should be hours of creativity, while I also do believe things should be spontaneous, okay? Here's what I mean. If you are always wanting to be spontaneous, this is exactly why people go through these drought seasons, because nothing seems to be flowing, whether someone's uninspired or let's say that they're precisely really emotional. So let's say that they're down, right? And maybe they're not even motivated to create, okay? And I'm gonna, next video, I'll be sharing lessons I learned about my own inconsistency with creating and talk about that in a second. But so if they're really emotionally driven, well, maybe they're, like I said, uninspired or not motivated. So, okay, there's just no creating being done. But if there's no creating being done and the childlike creative person is fed, if you will, by creativity, by producing, well, then there seems to be a little bit of something going on here because, well, now we're just starving that creative person. And then on the opposite side, when the disciplined person never expresses creativity, well, their life gets pretty boring. They're pretty detached from life, it seems. There's no joy in their life. It seems to be all responsibility driven. Here's why they need each other. And here's the example. You ever have a work assignment or homework assignment that caused you had to come up with something, right? It wasn't just like answering problems that was already set formulas, whatever. You had to come up with something yourself, whether it be interpretation, a work of art in some way, or whatever it would be that requires original creative thinking from your end. Okay, it's due at 11:59. Somehow, some way, with the motivation of getting a good grade, our brain is able to tell that creative self, no, we need to do something. There will be certain assignments that we say, that was pretty solid. There are other ones where we go, that wasn't as solid. I just kind of did that one. Either way, we always can get work done when there's that motivation of the good grade and the due date at 11:59 for whatever date it may be at the time at 11:59. It works without doubt every single time, unless a person does not care about the grades. Then they just move on and forget about it, right? But this is why. And this is why I think the marriage of the two needs to be more talked about. Because whenever people don't have the due dates, right? Let's say that they're just the adult who's the artist and they just like to be inspired. Well, it could be years, it could be months before their next thing comes out. And I think having this adult you manage the younger you is the most healthy balance of this relationship, because it allows us to do both in life. It allows us to love the extremes, the creatives, the venturing out into the unknown, while also taking care of responsibility. And so the reason why earlier that I said I think it should be both scheduled and spontaneous is this. You should have your hours of creativity, or hour, 30 minutes, whatever it may be. But of course, as a child who walks with their parent, when they're walking through the, let's say, a park or something like that, the parent might be just like, okay, we're going to go on this for 20 minutes, and they might walk to and back, right, with the child, where the child's like, whoa, 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 this is so cool, right? So that's the spontaneous side to that. Okay, if you find that artist coming out when you're in the more responsibility-driven moments, that's when you write down those inspired moments, because a lot of people have good ideas, but they don't take time to write it down, and these ideas just pass. So this is where things should be both creative and spontaneous. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what I've been learning, even as I've been making these videos, because some people would say, you know, this is not too creative, but I would say, yes, it does require some amount of original thinking, because these are insights that I've gained, if you will. So although mine is not appearing on a painting or a story yet, this is communication and insights within my own life that I'm sharing here. And so I've learned both the idea of, and I've enjoyed it, spontaneous, something will come to me earlier in the day or yesterday, and I'll write it down and you know, get it done. And then other times I'm like, oh, well, okay, I haven't thought of anything, so okay, so I won't produce the video today. And then other times I'm like, okay, I've thought of 7 videos right now, so I'm going to plan these out. And it's worked on the days that I'm not, you know, inspired or anything like that. Well, then I can just post the ones from the videos past, from the topics that I've written down. So that's just a little bit of an illustration in my life that I've taken from this. And that's why I do believe that you should have both the creative mind and the responsibility mind, and the older you should help parent and drive the younger you, while still allowing the younger you, if it wants to be, or when it is, be spontaneous when it can be, but still being able to produce every day and being able to exercise that younger you every day. Otherwise, the older you gets exercised way more. And that's when the passion for life kind of just goes down, 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 or kind of just tops off. It's because that younger you hasn't had the opportunity to express itself in a long time, either because the older you has completely shut out the younger you, or just because, you know, the older you hasn't made time for the younger you to express that creativity and that curiosity with the world that allows it to ask questions and pursue wherever those questions lead to. So those are my thoughts on this topic of creativity and discipline and why they should be married. Let me know if you agree or disagree down in the comment section below. And with that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one.